So, I had a request for follow-up. It is almost the end of March. Things have changed considerably. I've taken a bunch of stuff out of the tent. There's containers, there's orchids, the money tree, so all of this ends up back in there. First thing we'll start with is tissue cultures. This is my lowland tissue culture currently. So, yellows are Leilani X Thicklip Rafflesiana. Let me zoom in here for you. Get some nice little pictures forming. There's a lot of crispiness to the leaves because these are going through the hardening process right now. So yellow labels are what's called Rafflesiana Leilani times Thicklip. Blue labels are a Maxima Thorelli. They're suffering a little bit more. There's a couple good ones down in here. You can see they're getting pictures on them. There's a good looking one. What else we got here? We have Ampullaria Reds, which are the whites. They're starting to produce pictures. And again, these were all tissue cultures, so they were super soft. Here's oh my goodness, it's a Vechi Ampullaria Northiana, Lowly Vechi Bashiana. So a couple of them, they're starting to produce some pictures. Here's a good looking new leaf right there. We got Big Red times Subayensis. So this is Rob Cantley X Densiflora. There's actually a picture right here. Oops. Sorry, that other one was a Thicklip. That is a Densiflora, Rob Cantley Densiflora. Times Subayensis. I think that's pretty much it. There's another Ampullaria Red right here. Just little guys. They're doing good though. They're actually coming back. They did not look terribly great when, like a couple weeks ago when I left for my business trip, because they were getting a little too much fresh air. But you can see they're consistently open. I keep the tank open. I'll put that back here in a minute. Sorry, kind of doing a bunch of stuff here. I got to make room so I can move through the room here. Orchids. We got an Oncidium. This is Twinkle, Phalaenopsis, Phalaenopsis, Phalaenopsis. We still have Lady Slippers blooming. These have been in bloom for a couple months now. I did take and make some seeds of a cross. It's a purple, like a dark violet, with this yellow one over here. I've also got another Oncidium. This is Red Twinkle, and it's a big flowered Oncidium. It's got another spike on it. So looking good from that aspect. Here is a Nepenthes Drosera capensis alba, Drosera capensis narrowleaf. They are both in flower currently. You can see this is just from seeding out. I think majority of these are standard capensis. There's a whole bunch of albas in here. There's a little baby alba right there. There's baby albas. But yeah, there's probably 200 capensis in this container with all the little guys. I probably should have cut the leaves or the flowers off, but I didn't. So that's the orchids. There's the Drosera tissue cultures. Like I said, this guy kind of sits in there. He maintains pretty good humidity and provides shade for some of the Nepenthes plants. Bonsais, we got Chinese elm in the middle here, tree of 1,000 stars. This one's Fukian tea. Some ginseng ficus cuttings. The ones in the back in the bonsai pot, those are Japanese elms. I had a bit of a plumbing issue in one of my main tanks this morning. It was a little flooded, so I had to pull everything out to fix it. In here we got a bunch of pinguiculas. Oh my goodness, I can't even remember. Orchoides F is the front one. There's an Orchoides in there. He's kind of buried under. I can see the growth, but you can't really see him. Let me zoom back in here. So you can see the growth underneath there. So that one's ready to be hardened. Tried doing some condoys. They aren't working so well. So the Pinguicula condoy is tough to pull leaf pullings from. I think I was a little too early, but couldn't tell you exactly. Here we have Super Lerzier. There's some new growth on the points there. Those will be set up in a minute, or in a couple weeks. Agnata albilobo pullings. You can see one of them is actually sprouting. That's a Morinensis. I want to say F. Huahapan is that specific one. That's Morinensis A. And you can see it sucks all the energy out of the old leaf to produce the propagations. These are Hemiepiphytica. There's like 8 of them in there that actually have good pullings. So I just need to pull them out. So that's essentially a little propagation dome just done in a Tupperware container. These are tomato plants going outside, waiting for them to sprout because it's a very distinct cultivar that was given to me by a buddy of mine. All right, so we'll start at the top here. Tahitian vanilla orchid, and it's doing phenomenal. I mean, you can see all the aerial growth. Here's a new sprout. I've taken cuttings from this, and I have probably about 30 plants going right now between all the cuttings that I have. Just a house plant. It's good space for fungus gnats and bugs to hide so they can feed my Nepenthes. Like I said, more tropical house plants. Bonsai cuttings in here. There's some club mosses. I got ferns in the back buried. This Hoya is driving me bonkers. It's about 6 feet long right now, and I cannot get it to flower. He starts back here somewhere. Ginseng ficus. Sorry, this is a little tight for me. You can see he's putting out a bunch of aerial roots. There's bird's nest ferns in there. There's a couple staghorn ferns down here. Yeah, the staghorns tend to like more shade, which is why they're buried in there. Here's a bonsai tray. We've got Japanese elm, seed-grown acacia. This is what's called a purple star, lavender star. Money tree propagation, lavender star propagations. Here is a Zelkova or Japanese elm. This is a 3-year-old Japanese black pine from seed. A couple of other Chinese elm propagations. Then we got Pinguicula. They're looking very nice. All of my Morinensis varieties are back in the back there, so A, J is in the middle. That's Morinensis alba in the back corner, kind of hiding. That looks like a crested one. That's Morinensis F. Next to that's Montezuma in the back corner. There, the skinny one. And we have Hemiepiphytica next to that. Huahuapan next to that. This is a Morinensis J. All my seductora pullings. There's some seductoras. There's another J. It's another Morinensis F. Aphrodite, Ibare that just flowered. Condoy, Sethos. My Sethos I need to pull some pullings from. He doesn't look like he's too happy. Potassiensis. These are Gypsicolas. These are all 4 cyclosectas that have come from one parent plant that's not in this tank. Here's a rectifolia. This is supposedly a synonym of Morinensis, or different locality. Lawiana tangerine. This one's Johanna, Superlerzier, El Lobo, Adnata, Pilosa, Martezinier. This little one right here is a Martezinier. I'm actually trying to use the money tree to shade him because he's not happy right now. And then in the front's a Jalvamensis. But they are about to undergo, or I should say they're about to start getting their summer, later spring, early summer watering cycle. So currently they get 5 minutes a week, which fills the tray up for about 3 days, and then they dry out for the remainder 3. Soon they'll go 5 minutes twice a week, which is going to fill it up and keep it consistently wetter. We have all of the Sarracenia in here. In the back, there's actually this one right here, one right there, and then one further back in the back you can't see. Those are all Cobra's nest. They will be moved outside here shortly because they take up too much space. Next to that, I believe that is a white, or no, I don't remember what the tall one is. I know this one's a white wizard right here. We have Sarracenia purpea. It obviously needs a replant. These 2 back here are Hurricane Creek whites. They had a bit of an issue this winter, so these are some rhizomes I pulled out from the pot. We'll see if they actually grow. This guy right here is actually a Madagascar trumpet jasmine. We've got Spanish moss, some more house plants. A lot of the house plants I use as a place to either put my praying mantis eggs, or again, it's a great place for ladybugs and stuff to begin. Because again, it allows them a home. There's some sort of bugs that are still, on it, but it allows them to maintain their population so that they can control my outbreaks, should I have any. This is a new Pinguicula tank that I've done. It's full of, going from the top, making it a little easier. There's a Morinensis, the second level. Those are all Emarginata. Emarginata. This is the original Emarginata plant that everything came from. And then on this side, we got a couple more Emarginatas on top, and a couple of Morinensis J's down below. So this is to try to essentially emulate some sandstone cliffs around the area of San Luis Potosi, I believe, which is where the Emarginatas are from. Hence the reason that I built that little tank right there. That one is in front of, let me just disconnect this real quick. I gotta set the camera down. So I'm gonna pull this tank out. Man, I cut myself on something, unfortunately. So again, there's kind of the all right, now this tank. This is a bunch of seeds, the Sundew or a Drosera mix. So there was, I want to say Capensis, Alisiae, Spatulata mix, I think is what was in there. These are all propagations from the other Droseras I have. So spatulated, spoonleaf sundew, I have Oblanceolata, Capensis, narrowleaf Capensis, Scorpio, red leaf, Tocaiensis, Alisiae, and I think that's pretty much all the Droseras. But yeah, you can see they like to have a little more humidity, hence the reason I have them covered. This is an old, or a set of seedlings, so it's kind of a way for me to harden off my seedlings. So in this front we have Yamada wavy leaf, Maxima wavy leaves times Yamada times Vecchi Candy Dreams. There's quite a few plants in there. We got probably 20-ish. It's a Tolumnia. So definitely not a area specific tank. There's another vanilla orchid, so this is one of the propagations. The plants that are in the middle here, so that one right there, there's a single container with one plant in it, and then there's a third one. We gotta move some more stuff. It's a little tight in here. This one right here in the center, those are Nepenthes X tiviae, so they're Maxima, oh my goodness, Candy Dreams. And it was, I'll have to look at the Maxima. I want to say it's like one of the Schaefer crosses. Very stunning looking. Let me pull this guy out a little bit. Ooh, good thing I didn't forget that. I would have been a little upset. I forgot to replug in my irrigation after I did my cleaning this morning. So, let me plug him back in. Alright, so the main plant in the middle here is a Sanguinea, and it's actually starting to show some of the characteristic upper pictures. So this picture back here has got that very vertical, almost Colossi-like mouth. Alright, the seedlings in the front row. There's a couple right there. There's actually 6 containers here. These are all wavy leaf Maximas. I'm a big fan of the Maximas. I really like the intraspecies variability, hence the reason I have so many. The big container, so in the back here, in that central container, this one right here in the front, sorry, my fingers, right there, and then there's one in the back. There's actually 4 pots. Those are seed-grown Rajas, and they like it wet. If I can get into it, I can zoom in on them. Turn this bad boy. So yeah, those are seed-grown Raja. At least that's what I purchased. We'll see if they actually are. They were not cheap, to say the least. But these ones really appreciate the moisture, and they let you know as soon as it's not soaking wet. The other seedlings in here, they don't mind getting a little dried out. So I'm thinking it's definitely a higher moisture loving species, whether or not it's specifically Raja. Only time will tell. Unfortunately, it'll be a couple more years before I'll have any true indication. Alright, let me zoom back out here. Put you over towards this tank while I replug in all of my stuff. Okay. Irrigations have all been reconnected. So I had a bunch, obviously, that emarginata formed into a ball. Like, it wouldn't stay, it looked like a golf ball sitting on top of the substrate. So I broke all of the different growth points off, replanted a bunch of them, and here's 2 of them that have absolutely just taken off. There's actually a flower forming on the top of that one there. Marginata is prolific. That was a rescue. A friend of mine gave me this. Couldn't take care of it correctly. Dang, almost had it dead. I had to cut off a bunch of the dead growth, and it had 1 leaf left, and it's coming back. So, I think he didn't have enough light intensity. It was just keeping it too wet. But, alright, so the new lowland tank. Alright, so in the back we have some orchids. There's some, what are they called? Tree fern mounts. There's some wooden mounts. But these are, I think, here I can tell you. Sigmorsis pusilla, Schornorchis fragrans, and I can't remember, Hariella something pulchra, I want to say is the third one. We've got some dendrobiums that are actually from the same areas as some of these guys. So all the seedlings in this tank are Rafflesianas. There's, I think, 12 containers, and they all kind of look like this one right here, where there's more plants than I know what to do with. In the front here, underneath the dendrobium, is a hookeriana, and this is Ampullaria Black Miracle times, I can't remember the Rafflesiana that's in there, but absolutely stunning. It is very vigorous. It's got like 3 or 4 basils on this plant. I mean, there's, you can see pictures everywhere. Next plant we have is a bicalc. He's hiding down here underneath. So see this big leaf? The bicalcerata is actually that one. You can see a couple pictures. There's a new growth point back in there. It's trying to start. This big leaf in the middle is actually Bocarensis times Smelezi, which is that picture right in the center. Let's see if I can get you a front-on picture. So, it's not gonna let me focus it. That's a Bocarensis Smelezi. I think there's some more pictures over here too. That's a Bocarensis Smelezi. It's pretty cool. That plant has a rooted tuber that if you were to pull it out and replant it, swells up and holds moisture during the dry season. So when it goes through the rainy, it swells up, sucks it up like a giant cactus, and as the dry season comes through, it actually uses that water that's retained in the root. And yeah, this picture right in front is from a Nepenthes red leopard, so it's a Maxima ventricosa cross. And the plant behind it is a Vanda nana, so an orchid. It's loving this thing. You can see it's tough to get an angle of it, but there's new leaf growth up on the top of the orchid there. The crazy thing about the red leopard is, I don't know if you can see right up there. So I messed up. I was cutting leaves off of the original plant, and this foot-long section right here accidentally got snipped. So I had to replant it. So I stuck it in the lowland tank to be able to give it the humidity it needed. But that is originally from this guy. And that cutting came from, I don't know if you can see that little basil shoot right there. That's the end of the vine where I accidentally cut that thing. So it's got a new basil coming out of there. There's a new basil right in there. It's a little lower forming. I've never seen a lower on this plant, I don't think. And yeah, the main plant's taken off, absolutely taking off. But yeah, it seems to enjoy the high humidity. Like I said, I got back from my business trip and I just was going through the tanks today and saw that I had a flower. So I'm pretty excited about that one. Moving on. I have a friend who gave me a bunch of lowland stuff. And I decided to change up the soil because this is an Ampullaria Black Miracle. The new growth is very happy, but I decided to put it into more of a peat base because the standard Nepenthes mix did not seem to keep enough moisture for my Ampullarias. So in the back here, kind of next, so you can see the truncata picture. Next to that is actually an Ampullaria tricolor Williams lead times harlequin, and it's finally producing leaves and new shoots that have pictures on them. The picture right there, that's actually a truncata. I have two of them. It's a truncata giant times D, and I wanted to see the difference between, say, one in a lowland setup versus one in a highland setup. So I'll show you the highland setup truncata, and also a ultra highland setup truncata. This one's doing good, but I think, relative to the leaf size, i.e. that leaf right there, the picture is kind of small. Here's another truncata in the front. This is a JB times giant, or JB giant times D. I like it, but it's a little bit slower of a truncata. I have it in the lowland. I may need to move it to the intermediate setup here. This corner is dactylifera in the very back. Next to that right here, that's a bicalcarata orange. This guy right here in the front, this red one, is a belly. Pictures on that are really cool. There's a little one that just formed right there. It's hard to get them because they're all behind everything. There's actually two more Ampullaria Black Miracles. They are kind of buried in here. I'm not going to try and get them out. Here's a third. He gave me 4 of them. And this one's actually starting to grow very well. You can see the spotting in the leaves, the black spots. It's got brand new pictures forming a new growth point. This one looks the healthiest, which is interesting because, again, it's in the most fresh air, so it actually gets dried out the most. But yeah, this guy here with the 2 points on it is actually a Rafflesiana. Let's see if I can find the picture. The pictures are gorgeous. They're stunning. I really need to get that one out and show you, but like cream with a bright pink and big ruffled ridges on them. Let me lean in here a little bit because I know there's one right here. Not the best shot because it's got stuff in front of it, but whew, it's pretty. It reminds me of the Nivea, Nivea Rafflesiana, just because of the cream colors, the pinks and the whites. Right next to that, in this back corner under another orchid, is an Ampullaria bow green, and he's doing very well. I think he's got like 4 or 5 pictures on him. It took a while. It was stunted for a bit, but it's definitely picking back up. It's coming to life now. I think that's it for the lowlands. So this is actually where I keep the tissue cultures. See, it's in between my lights, so I actually have a shade cloth that goes over the top, so they only get like 30 pp FD per second, so they're not under high intensity. All right. So we've got split leaf philodendron. I have leaves that are 18 inches across. There's a bunch back up in here. This provides shade to some of the tanks, so that way they're not getting the super high intensity light. Well, here, I'll back up one second. Middle shelf. This is my seeds propagation area. So this one has a lowly Vecchi Basciana times Vecchi the Wave times Candy Red. These were started 12/8/2024, so they're about 3 months old. The other one's Maxima Wavy Leaves Yamada Vecchi Candy Dreams. And you got some little guys. So these are the Maxima, or the Wavy Leaf Maxima Vecchi Candy Dreams. There's probably 20 little plants in there. This lily Vecchi Basciana Candy Dreams, I think there's only about 4 of them. That one wasn't a very good germinator. There's a little baby. There's a couple more with a tree fern growing out of it. So yeah, essentially very healthy sphagnum moss collection. So there's one. One of my other favorite species is Veitchii, and these were started not too long ago. These are, so March 9th. These are about 2 weeks in. But Vecchi, Barrio, Azurican Barrio. These ones should be pretty. I saw the pictures from Drew on the parent plants. But yeah, I cultivate my seedlings in, so this is a different moss. So this was actually dried sphagnum. I got a little bit of mold right there I'm going to pull out. Yeah, so this was dried sphagnum moss that's been rehydrated. So all of that at one point many months ago looked like this. We had some Capensis. I like to keep the little guys in with the seedlings. Takes care of the fungus gnats a bit more. So that would be the seedlings. This is my moss parent, or my moss propagation tray. So this is where I maintain the parent cultures for all of my moss types. local to me. That one's local to me. Obviously, this sphagnum. We got some different species of moss growing in there as well. This is a rehydrated tree fern moss, so I'm going to use this for some of the pinguiculas. We've got star moss in the back, and then I can't remember what this one's called, but every winter it goes dormant, so that's why it looks like it's dead, but you can see right down in here it's starting to come back. So every year it goes dark brown like this, and that's why I have it in this tray. And then proceeds to come back. I mean, you can see there's a new sprout. There's new stuff sprouting out of it. But not a bad tray of sphagnum. So whenever I need to, I use this to top coat plants. Whenever I start a new terrarium, this is where I get all my moss from. And this all started from one package that came from Carnivorous Plant Nursery. Unless it was dried moss that I rehydrated, which I showed you the one tray that does have that in there. Again, moss cultivation. This is just so that way I can maintain the top coats, top dressing if I need it. I've got some really slow growing moss. I can't remember what this stuff is called. Yeah, there's little tree ferns. Yeah, some different types of mosses. But, yep. I'm going to set the phone down for a moment here. Back it out. This guy. All right. We do a lot, my girlfriend is Cambodian, so we do a lot of cooking using lemongrass. So this is my lemongrass that I grow. Dionia. I'm not the greatest at doing fly traps, but they're starting to come back. So left side's a B52. Then you have I should say bog violets that have essentially multiplied. I only had one of those in there originally. Now there's like 5 plants. This one is one of the newest additions to my intermediate family of plants, intermediate kind of highland. It's Micramphora. Super small, very cool looking pictures. Reminds me of a like the Mickey eye. But anyway, we'll go back up to the Dionia. So I don't have a spot for that one yet, so I was putting them in that tank. There's more violets. That Dionia in the back isn't doing too well. I think it may be on its way out, but we'll see. I mean, we have a maroon red that's in flower, another B52, if I recall. No, that's a maroon red. So the other B52 is that one. We'll see if it survives. But the rest of the tank's going good. I think I need actually a bit more light intensity here. It's only getting about 150 moles. And I actually turned it down. I changed a bunch of lights because I was getting burning on my minimas. The minimas, there's 3 vines that are probably about 3 feet tall, or 3 foot long right now. This plant is prolific, and I really don't know how to describe it any other way than that. You'll get one picture that forms, and every other leaf ends up grabbing a hold. So great examples like this. Like you can see, they just tangle up and form these pockets of pictures. I think this is the biggest one I've seen on the plants so far, and it is covered in nectar glands. There's some, yeah, you can see them on there. There's some dew sticking out of the nectar, or nectar coming out of the nectar glands. But yeah, absolutely prolific plant. Yeah, it's got pictures sitting on top of my lighting. Alright, the easiest way to go through the kind of intermediate highland tank here is going to be to move these. Start in this corner. That's a Vecchi K. There's a Vecchi K pitcher. You can see this one, I bought it as an extra small. It's finally getting leaf jumps. Leaves are probably 3 inches in length at this point. Specifically, this leaf right here is about 3 inches in length. I have no idea where the pitcher is gonna... Oh, he's sitting right there. He's kind of hidden in the back corner. I really can't get you a good shot of him. This one I'm holding right here with the beautiful wings on it is actually a Rob Mata. So Rob Cantley X Hamada. And I can't wait for that one to open. It's stunning. This plant is really cool. I'm not a big fan of hybrids unless you can determine parent characteristics from each plant. And Rob Mata is definitely one of those. Beautiful. You got a Tenius right here with the long, skinny, narrow leaves. That's a more recent addition to the collection, so it has not pictured for me yet. Right here above it, this big guy that's kind of hanging out over off of the wood. So actually, this plant right here is a Veitchii Barrio, and this is the non-stripe, or the gold peristome, and it looks like he's starting to get some stripes now. Sorry for the finger in the way. Trying to zoom is tough. So I can see a little bit of peristome striping on that guy. Yeah, that's him. All the other ones have been pretty much gold, and then that yellow kind of peristome, and then they get a reddish body. This plant right here in the center, that one is a species 1. I want to say Sumadera. He's being flanked, obviously, by this giant right here. That was the first pitcher plant I actually own. This is a cutting I've taken, so it's probably a couple years old now. But it has quite the large amount of pictures on it. Sorry, I'm trying to move that tag so you can see it. It's everywhere. It's got pictures coming up here. There's some in the back. They're hanging outside of the tank. Prolific. I mean, again, this one, obviously you can tell there's a bunch of alatas. That's an alata, kind of in the middle here. Big red black picture. That's a Bill Bailey. He's the second plant right in the center there. So behind that little log, and here's another Bill Bailey. That's the newest pitcher to open. About 6, maybe 7 inches tall right now. This one in the center is a Maxima talangensis. I believe it's called Mimi's Kiss. And that one produces a ton of pictures. There's 2 right there. I just cut one from back there behind that Stenophylla. And again, that's the newest picture that's opened up, is this one right here. So again, top row, Vecchi K, Vecchi Barrio, that's a Rob Mata. Species 1 in the center there. I haven't seen a big picture on that guy yet. Back corner is the Ventrata. Back right now, center, Bill Bailey. Back center, kind of behind the sprinklers here, that's a Stenophylla. And it's getting probably 500 ppfd right now. Next to that's a Dendrobium wren. It's a Dendrobium cross. I have to look at the parents. Very center, and you can see, I'm gonna get that green one out. So that plant right there, without that green picture, that's a Vecchi Barrio. That's same plant. That's the same plant, and then there's one beautiful picture right here, kind of hiding behind my Argenti. In the center is another Argenti. This little one right here, not the green picture, but the red pictures, is a Azurican Barrio. It's a Vecchi cross, like a Japanese Vecchi cross. In the back here, very center, that's Barcelone. And then the green and purple picture is coming from a plant that's like really far back in the corner there. That's Hirsuta. And Hirsuta is an interesting one. I was told to keep it in an intermediate situation instead of the lowland, and it seems to be doing very well. That's a truncata, specifically JB times, or JB giant times 1, or D1. Let me move this bamboo. Right here in front. Diana. I think if you were going to get somebody else to get into this, this is your picture plant. It is absolutely unreal how many pictures it maintains. They're big, fat, glabrous. They look cool. That ampullaria definitely shines through on this one. One of my favorites. The big picture in the center there is actually a Maxima 3067, and that's on that big plant right there. And the leaf jumps on this bad boy, it's gonna have to be moved into another tank, like probably within the next couple weeks. Let's see here. This white one in the center that I'm gonna zoom in on, that is a Ventricosa dubia, or sorry, dubia ventricosa. And it's got like 3 basils on it. Very cool plant. The pitcher fluid is like thick, viscous glue. There's a Spectabilis hiding in here in the center there. You can see the brand new pitcher. It was not happy because I had it in the Highland tank and got a little dried out. So I moved it in here. Seems to be liking it. It's getting more frequent leaf growth, that kind of stuff. Let's see here. There's another. Let me move this guy. It's tough to see him. There's another ventricosa, or dubia ventricosa. Very cool looking. We're gonna go back here a second. So this plant, kind of hiding in the shade, that's an Attenbury. And since I put it in the shade, it has taken off. It did not like the full sun, at least as the small plant. And yeah, it's making big leaf jumps right now. It was an extra small. I have some leaves that are almost 2 inches now. The plant kind of in the center here, that's really far back, right next to the rock, is a Berbergier Mira, and it's been finicky. You can see there's a picture right there, a little green one. But it has been a very interesting plant to try and grow. Very finicky about light levels. The picture right down there in the center is actually coming from Suki. I think it's a Rafflesiana subiensis, if I'm recalling correctly off the top of my head. That one always likes to hide its pictures from me for some reason. So the fact that I'm actually seeing this one is very cool. Can't wait to see it expand. It's got great wings along the edge of the plant. Sorry, let me put this Maxima Talagensis back here. Alright. So the Suki plant is actually that plant right there. And you can see he's got one growth point coming up. I actually may get a better view of that picture once it finally grows, assuming it doesn't try to weave its way back underneath this stuff. The Mimi's Kiss plant is below the Dendrobium. So that black plaque on the back is the Dendrobium Rin. Where the ferns are coming from, that's the Mimi's Kiss. I'm drawing a blank on this one right now. This orchid in the center. It is Stereochilus ericinaceus. Pretty cool. It seems to appreciate this in here. Let's see. That, so you can see the two Mimi's Kiss, the Maxima Talagensis pictures. Right there, that black stem is the beginning of the Maxima. So, again, you can get a good idea of how big these plants actually are. Let's see here. In the center, right there, the $25 plant, that was a B067. That's an Nepenthes Gaia. And Gaia is another one of those ones that's just absolutely prolific. Let's see here. This plant right in the front. I'm trying to see if I see any pictures. He's got one. This picture right here in the center. That's Ventricosus subiensis. Next to that we have a Mira. There are some Mira pictures, but they are in the hardest spot to see. So right down in the center here is actually a Mira. Let me zoom in, see if I can get you to see it. So this is going to be a huge Mira picture. They like to nestle in that moss. Next to him, right here. Sorry, I gotta keep zooming out. In the center is a Vechimera. That's a Vechimera. Sitting in my Stenophylla pot. So Stenophylla, he's buried in here. There's a Stenophylla right there. Mimi's Kiss. There's actually a Maxima. There's 3 Maximas buried in here. So, in the front, oh my goodness, right here, you can see there's a wavy leaf Maxima down in here. There's another wavy leaf Maxima in the back there. That's 4081. I don't know if you can see the pictures right there under my finger. And there's a couple more. So I want to say this one's 3907, right next to my finger to the left. Let's see here. Those are Stenophylla in there. Yeah, I'm not going to be... I have to pull those Maximas. They're getting shaded so badly right now. Back corner. Let me zoom in for you. So the back corner right there, not the front picture right here, but this one and that one in the very back, that's peltata. And I'm actually getting very red leaves. And it's actually starting to take off. So we're getting major leaf jumps on that bad boy. It's turning out good. So that would be the intermediate highland tank, is what I refer to that one as. So it does typically have temperatures closer to the highland situation. And then this tank in the front is ultra highland. First I need to put this Micram 4 back. I really need to find him a spot. So again, this will go into the intermediate highland area. But right now he lives with my Dionia. Okay. So again, I put these red leopard. I use a fogger to maintain 85% humidity in the ultra highland tank. Essentially, you can see this intake vent actually runs up to the window up here. So about 7:30 tonight, I'll plug it into the intake vent. That allows outside cold air to come straight down in through the 4-inch dryer duct and into the tank. So, the Ultra Highland. I moved my Glabrata. I was having some issues with the dryness in the back of the tank up here. So he got moved in. Seems to be liking it. It's not throwing pitchers right now, but it's definitely doubled in height. I, like I said, had a buddy who had a collection, ended up killing a bunch of it. So this one right here, you can see under the leaf here, he's got the top is all brown. And this Singolana right here, you can see the top is suffering. The top is suffering. Glabrata. What else did he give me? I think that was it. So essentially the plants were kept inside a too high humidity environment, got a little too warm during the day, got a fungal infection. So I've been trying to nurse them back for several weeks. I gave them a systemic fungicide and kept them in a humidity dome until I knew that it wasn't going to transfer to my other plants. For the Singolana here, let me move this thing out of the way. You can see it threw out a basil. It's still trying to work on that top section. It's cleared up a bit. But yeah, it produced a basil and is trying to throw new pitchers out. Same thing with the Aristolochoides, or Burkii Aristolochoides. So I chopped off the top and it produced a new basil shoot from a apical meristem. But the plant also produced 2 basils down at the bottom. So even if that main plant doesn't come back, it'll just get chopped off, and there's, said 2 more new plants down there. This is a truncata Pigeon, the Pigeon Red, and I'll get a better shot of that one in a second here. Again, the Jacquelineae that my buddy gave me had been kept in a warm environment with cold night temperatures at a high humidity, and it got that fungal infection. So again, I cut off the top. This one has thrown out, looks like 2 basils as well. You can see them down there. There's a brand new picture from the basil, brand new picture from the basil. We have this corner, or this back corner right here. That's a Coplandii. big picture in the center. There's Copelandii, Gymnophora in front of it. I really like Gymnophora. Readily basils, doesn't have any issues growing, seems to like a lot of different climate situations. Next to that in the center in the back here, that's a Mollis. It and the other one that I got, which is right here in the center, have put on new pitchers. They're starting to get, bigger leaves. I'm excited for that one. Let's see here. Little guy in the back is a Enigma. Here's another one that my buddy brought over. This isn't mine, but I'm nursing it back for him. This is a Tambusi Exlamut Hamada. So the deal is, if I can bring it back, I get cuttings off of it. So I'll gladly take my time, effort, and energy to see if I can help my friend out. Singolana belly ring. This one has not had any issues. This is one I purchased. Enigma right in the middle there. Or sorry, not a Enigma. That's Barceloniae. Up here, Talagensis. There's a Becca Soper as well. Spectabilis, him and his buddy were subjected to some dry conditions. The top actually burned on this one. No fungal infection, anything like that. We're going to see if we can get him to basil. Ceciliae in the middle. The back one there in the bottom is a Jambin, and it's already showing uppers. Again, my friend who needed my help had a pretty extensive collection. He gave me some of the stuff. So these are Pidicpangi, supposedly Laura Lindus, but I have no idea. We'll have to see. If that's the case, that plant's going to be incredible. I have a feeling it's the cream version, the secondary location. The two in front right here are Velosa. They have quite a few pictures on them. You can't see it because they like to bury them in the moss. The pictures only come out, like they show up and you're like, wow, look at the red top. This front one, let me zoom back out. This front one right here is a Glabrata aristolochoides. It's quite a few leaves on since I got him. I haven't seen any pictures though. I don't know what's going on with him. I might have to change location, but I would assume it would like the cooler weather. Here's a vining Glabrata. That's my other plant. It's very happy. I love these pictures. They are so pretty. Just little and stunningly beautiful. They look like they're hand painted. Then this one in the center with the black tendrils and midribs is actually Nepenthes Mickii. And here's an upper picture for you. So directly down right here in the center, that's a Loei. It actually has a decent picture right there. Newer leaf growth, but the newest leaf, the picture, is hiding underneath the truncata. This is that Pasian red, and Just to give you an idea how big it is. So that leaf jump that you can see here resulted in the biggest picture I've seen on that plant. And that pretty much wraps up the tour for the grow tent. I will continue to update in the next month or so. Yeah, enjoy.